What's going on, guys? Thanks for coming back for another video. While taking Christmas ornaments off of the Christmas tree, I saw this and I said, you know what? I want to make this out of metal. It has a parting line, which means when they created it, it was already a two-part mold. So I'm going to sandcast this today. I have made other objects just like this one, and I'm going to be using the same technique I used for those as I'm going to use for this one. So what I did was I filled the bottom of the mold box with sand and I pressed the pattern into the sand gently. I really need to be careful with this because it is very thin plastic and I don't want to crush it. I then followed up by adding more sand, trying to pack it underneath of the pattern and just wiggling it gently, packing more sand, filling it in, and just pressing it under with my finger to try to get as much sand underneath of the pattern as possible. Now that I have the sand packed in roughly around where the parting line is on the pattern, I'm now going to scrape away any extra sand and try to make it so the sand in the mold box matches up right exactly where the parting line is on the pattern. This part is pretty time consuming. Sometimes you'll go down too deep and then you'll have to add more sand to bring it back up to the parting line. You'll just do this all the way around the pattern until you can expose the parting line that's showing on the pattern. Now that half of the mold is finished, we're going to add talcum powder to it. So now when we add the top part of the mold, the sand will not stick to this part of the mold or the pattern. Now that we're done adding the talcum powder, we're going to add the top part of the mold. And we're going to do that by sifting the sand right on top of the pattern to try to get as much detail as possible. Then we're going to continue adding sand and just packing it around using our fingers. We're going to continue doing this until we get to the very, very top of the mold box. Continue filling with more sand, packing, filling it with more sand, and so on. Now that we have filled up the top of the mold box, I'm going to scrape away any of the excess sand that's on top. That way now when I put this board on, it will be flat and I can easily screw it right on. Now that that's complete, I'm going to divide the mold box in half, and now I'm going to remove the pattern and see what it looks like. If the imprint looks good, I'm going to now cut in a sprue, and I'm also going to cut in a pouring basin for the molten aluminum, as well as a vent for the entrapped air to be able to escape the mold. Now that I did that on one side, I have to do the same thing on the other side of the mold, so when I put it together, it lines up. And that's when I realized I cut the pouring basin on the wrong side on each half of the mold. So now I'm just going to have to carve it in while the mold box is put together. It's not a big deal, but I should have marked either the box or, yeah, probably the box. That would have probably been a better way to do it. Again, it's not really a big deal. I could have just cut it in on half of the mold box and then did exactly what I'm doing now once the box was together.
Want to see it again?
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. This thing, wow. This thing is amazing. I am so happy with the way this came out. I honestly can't wait till I can do this in copper or brass. This thing is just amazing. If you like the video, guys, please like the video, share it with your friends, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. See ya.